It's not what happens that wounds you, but how you choose to face it. Epictetus. Ever feel your mind racing, saying more than you mean, chasing everything but what matters, in a world drowning in noise, where snap judgments pass for strength and rash reactions are mistaken for wisdom? Many lose their way. They're drained, scattered, and cut off from their inner power. But the Stoics knew this truth long ago. True strength isn't about doing more, it's about doing better. Not shouting louder, but knowing when to stay silent. Not endless thinking, but directing your thoughts with purpose. In this video, you'll uncover how Stoic philosophy for men sharpens your focus, disciplines your mind, and guides purposeful action. You'll learn to master what's in your control, tame your inner voice, and build a presence that speaks louder than words, even in silence. If you've ever felt swept away by distractions, you're not alone. But today could mark the start of reclaiming yourself. Join me, because when you think less, speak less, and focus more, the world doesn't own you. You own it. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay on this quiet but powerful path of change. First, your thoughts aren't the truth. A single stray thought can ruin your day. Creeping in like a shadow, asterisk, I'm not good enough. Things will never change. What if it all goes wrong, asterisk, before you know it? You're living as if those words are carved in stone, but they're not. The Stoics understood this. Epictetus taught that it's not events that disturb us, but how we judge them. Yet how often do we mistake a fleeting thought for reality? How often do we let an untested idea hold us captive? Picture yourself at a train station. Each thought is a train passing by. Some carry regret, others anger, others fear. You don't have to board every train. You can stand firm on the platform, breathe, and watch them pass. This simple act, observing without reacting, is a Stoic tool to cut through inner chaos. When you're trapped in thought, you lose control. But step back, observe, and those thoughts lose their grip on you. They fade away. I recall a late-night talk with a colleague, a respected leader known for his calm. He admitted to waking each morning with a knot in his gut, not from external events, but from the whispers of his mind the moment he opened his eyes. You haven't done enough. You're screwing up. Asterisk. For years, he lived as if those thoughts were his sentence. Then he found Marcus Aurelius, and everything clicked. He learned to create distance, saying, asterisk, I'm having the thought that I'm failing. Asterisk. That small shift in language changed everything. It wasn't his failure anymore, just a passing thought. Like a cloud, like smoke. If you don't fuel it, it dissipat. This isn't about denying thoughts or forcing positivity. That's just dodging reality. It's about recognizing your mind churns out thoughts automatically. Not every thought serves you. Many are just echoes of old experiences, inherited fears, or unfiltered reactions. You are not your thoughts. You are the space where they arise, the one who chooses which to nurture and which to let go. Stoic practice begins with this awareness. No need for a forest cabin or a long meditation retreat. Just a few minutes daily to pause and observe. When a thought stings, don't rush to react. Don't push it away or cling to it. Simply watch it. Ask, is this true? Do I have evidence? Does it make me stronger or weaker? If it doesn't serve you, release it, not with anger, but with calm. like dropping a stone you no longer need to carry. Bit by bit, you carve out inner space. In that space, something no thought can fake, emerges clarity, calm, and enduring strength. This isn't magic, it's discipline. Return to the present, to your foundation, to yourself. The Stoics didn't try to stop thoughts, they tamed them. An untrained mind is a wild horse, dragging you where you don't want to go, but a disciplined mind becomes your ally, lighting the path. Above all, it frees you to walk that path. Next time a voice in your head says you can't, you're not enough, or it's too late, breathe deeply. Don't board that train. Stay with yourself, because thoughts don't define you. How you handle them does. That's true strength. Quiet, internal, and unshakable. Second, the power of saying less. The stronger the soul, the less it needs to justify itself. Marcus Aurelius. Some silences make others uneasy. Others command respect. In a world where quick words are mistaken for intelligence and noise drowns truth, choosing to speak less is rebellion, not against others, but against your own ego, which craves the last word, to argue, to be heard. You're not here to prove anything. You're here to master yourself. There was a man in our meetings. Everyone noticed, not because he was loud, but because he was different. He spoke only when necessary, listened intently, and observed deeply. When he did speak, each word felt carved in stone, not from shouting, but from precision, with no syllable wasted. He didn't argue or over-explain. His words mattered because they were rare and intentional. The Stoics saw this as virtue. The wise don't speak out of habit. They choose their words. They avoid pointless arguments, knowing some battles are won by not engaging. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a soul grows stronger by staying calm amid the world's noise. The challenge is holding your ground when everything screams, provokes, and demands a reaction. Speaking less isn't about biting your tongue out of fear. It's about choosing when to speak and when to stay silent. Knowing not every blow needs a counterstrike. Not every slight needs a retort. Not every moment needs your explanation. When you react to everything, you drain your energy and scatter your focus. But purposeful silence sharpens your mind. You become a man who doesn't react on impulse but acts with intent. Stoics aren't people pleasers, they live by virtue. Part of that virtue is speaking only what's necessary. Weighing words like a fighter measures his strikes. For a careless word can wound deeper than you intend, while a well-timed pause can diffuse a storm. Recall the last time you spoke impulsively, a jab, a defense, an opinion you didn't need to share. Was it worth it? Or did it leave you hollow? Regretting the cost, silence never betrays you. Silence buys you time. It grants insight. It restores control. Speaking less makes you more present, forcing you to listen, truly listen, not to reply or win, but to understand. Then something shifts. Others lower their guard. They sense you're not fighting but engaging, and you change too. When you don't speak, your thoughts grow clearer. Words stop being reactions and become choices. Epictetus taught us to master emotions before speech. Nothing is freer than not needing to explain yourself. That freedom lives in your breath, your gaze, the calm you hold when you choose silence, even when you could win with a sharp retort. Speaking less isn't just style, it's philosophy. It reminds you that control begins with your tongue. True respect isn't demanded, it's built in a noisy world. The man who masters silence becomes a presence that needs no introduction. So when you want to fire back, pause, breathe, ask, is this necessary? Does it serve? Does it align with who I want to be? If not, stay silent. Sometimes the greatest strength is saying nothing. In that silence, you grow stronger, clearer, and truly yourself. Third, control what you can. Sometimes the world seems to turn against you. Plans collapse. People disappoint. Opportunities vanish. The past stings. And the future looms heavy. In that chaos, one question cuts through. What now? Most blame others. Some give up, but a few choose differently. They turn inward, knowing the only power no one can take is the power to choose your response. You can't pick the hand life deals, but you decide how to play it. Epictetus called this the dichotomy of control. What's yours to command and what isn't? It's simple yet relentless. Placing the weight of your mind on your shoulders. It's not what happens, but how you let it shape you. You can't stop others from letting you down, but you can refuse to let disappointment consume you. You can't rewrite the past, but you can keep it from defining you. When you stop wrestling with what's unchangeable and seize what's yours, you reclaim power. Picture a ship on a vast sea. The captain doesn't control the wind or waves, but he steers the rudder, adjusts the sails, and chooses to keep sailing. A Stoic man lives like that captain. He doesn't pretend the storm isn't real or hide in illusions. He asks, where's my leverage? Then he acts. He decides. He builds. I once spoke with a man who lost his business after 20 years. He said the hardest part wasn't the money, it was the helplessness, watching his self-image crumble with every unpaid bill. For months, he drowned in anger, blaming, fixating on what he couldn't fix. Then he stopped. He took a notebook and drew 2 columns, what he couldn't control and what he could. His habits, mindset, discipline, and will to start anew filled the 2nd column. From that day, he didn't just rebuild his business, he forged inner peace. Clarity gave him strength, and focus made him unstoppable. Marcus Aurelius, a ruler of an empire, knew not everything was his to decide. He wrote to remind himself that happiness doesn't come from outside. Strength flows from the quality of your thoughts. An emperor could command armies, but not fate. His true power was in his response, no complaints. No surrender. Staying grounded amid chaos. Controlling what you can isn't about making everything perfect. It's about gripping the helm, no matter the storm. It means choosing what holds firm in your heart, calm, purpose, deliberate action, living from your core, not from reactions. When you feel lost, pause, breathe. Examine what you're trying to control and release what isn't yours. Then pour your energy into what you can change, no matter how small. Choosing where to place your effort makes every action purer, stronger, truly yours. That's what keeps a man standing when the world falls apart. Not luck, not circumstances, but the steadfast choice to return to what matters, because that's where real transformation begins. Not out there, not tomorrow, but now, in the thoughts you choose, the reactions you shape, the man you decide to be when no one else defines you. Fourth, focus on what builds you. You've likely felt this: a conversation ends, but you replay it for days. A mistake from months ago keeps you awake. Someone hurt you long ago, yet the wound festers because you keep feeding it. Your mind is fertile soil. What you plant grows. So pain, guilt, or resentment, and peace won't bloom. The issue isn't remembering, it's being stuck, trapped in that moment, that thought, looping like a broken record. Without realizing, you turn your mind into a prison, but you hold the key. It's not about ignoring the past or pretending all's well. It's about redirecting your focus to what strengthens you. A man who keeps looking back can't move forward, no matter how fast he runs. Effort means nothing if you dwell on what can't change. But when you turn toward the light, something unlocks inside you. Not loud, not instant, but real. That's where true growth starts. Marcus Aurelius. Amid war, betrayal, and illness, wrote in quiet nights that the soul strengthens by focusing on what's essential, what life demands of you today. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but now, the present, flaws and all, is the only place you can act. Your attention is the bridge between who you are and who you can become. Each time you catch your mind wandering and pull it back to now, you train an invisible muscle called self-mastery. Consider any day of your life. Thousands of thoughts pass through, some fleeting, some heavy, but only a few shape your actions. Only a few drain your energy. The secret isn't stopping them, it's refusing to feed them. To do that, you return to your breath, your body, what truly matters. Someone once commented on a Stoic video I watched, "Every time I try to move forward, my mind drags me back to old memories, people who hurt me, and I lose hours like it's still happening." I get it. We've all been there. But the key isn't fleeing those thoughts, it's facing them, acknowledge them, then decide today they won't take more space in you, even for an hour. Channel your energy into what drives you forward. The Stoics don't urge you to bury emotions, they teach transformation, using feelings as anchors to ground you and signals for what to release. Change begins with a quiet choice, where you place your focus. Each time you choose what adds value, reading, training, building, you tell the world and yourself, I won't waste another day on what I can't change. Asterisk, you can't control every thought, but you decide which ones to keep. That choice, day by day, shapes your character, your path, your strength. A strength not shouted but shown in your eyes, your actions, your quiet resolve while others stay trapped in their storms. Focus isn't a gift, it's a skill, sharpened through practice. Fifth, embrace what is. If you suffer over something external, the pain comes not from the thing but from how you see it. And you can change that view. Marcus Aurelius. Most men don't fall under burdens. They fall fighting them, wishing life were different. People didn't fail them. They want the past to stop hurting, for plans to unfold perfectly, but reality doesn't bend. The more you resist it, the more you exhaust and fracture yourself. It's not the weight that breaks you, it's how you carry it. Acceptance isn't surrender or passivity. It's stopping the fight against what's done. It's facing loss, mistakes, betrayal, and choosing not to let them define you. You don't build yourself on what went wrong. Wishing things were otherwise chains you to illusion, but acceptance lets you breathe. opening a new path. Someone emailed me recently about chasing his father's approval for years, striving to be the perfect son, the successful professional, the tough man. It was never enough. Then his father passed. The loss was brutal, but heavier were the unresolved years of seeking validation. Reading Epictetus, he realized freedom starts when you stop begging to be yourself. Living for others' approval is living in invisible shackles. That day, he began speaking to himself with respect, not because his father gave it, but because he chose not to need it anymore. The Stoics teach, you can't control how the world sees you, but you can shape how you see yourself. Everyone filters reality through their own scars, beliefs, and fears. If someone shuts you out, it doesn't mean you're worthless. It means they can't see your worth. But you can. You must, because if you don't, no one else will. Acceptance also means letting go of guilt, the inner voice replaying what you should have done, could have avoided, or lost. The past can't be rewritten. It can only be understood and used as raw material to build anew. When you accept something is over, you can begin again, not from zero, but from experience. Resilience isn't just enduring, it's learning, growing through each fall. Not with anger, but with purpose. Not in haste, but with direction. Each blow that doesn't break you reveals who you are. It shows what you can hold on to and what to leave behind. Yes, loneliness may come. When you stop living for approval, some will drift away. You no longer fit their mold, but that's part of freedom. Being alone with your true self is better than being surrounded yet disconnected from who you are. So, when things don't go your way, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What can I do with what I have?" Don't wait for life to align. Start now, with who you are, with what you know today. Sixth, embrace silence to find clarity. There's a noise you can't hear, but it exhausts you not from streets, phones, or others, but from within. An overloaded mind chases everything, trying to fix, solve, respond. We're surrounded by demands to do more, know more, be more. In that storm, you don't lose time, you lose direction. Without silence, everything blurs. And when all things seem equal, nothing truly matters. But silence isn't empty, it's a sanctuary. The only place you hear what you think, feel, and want. You might be chasing a path you didn't choose, goals that aren't yours, wins that don't fulfill you because you never pause to ask if they're truly yours. Silence forces you to face this, not with pressure, but with clarity, revealing you when the world's noise fades. A viewer shared, he used to pack his days full, dreading even 10 minutes of stillness. Idleness felt like worthlessness. But one day, in a moment of panic, he forced himself to sit quietly. No music, no phone, no one else. 5 minutes. In those 5, he broke down, not from sorrow, but truth. He saw how long he'd been running, how much noise he used to drown what he needed to face. Now, every morning starts with silence, not because it's easy, but because it's vital. It's where he finds answers no book or advice can give. The Stoics didn't shy from silence, they sought it. Marcus Aurelius wrote alone at night, not to boast, but to hear himself, to order his mind before making decisions that shaped an empire. He knew a noisy mind isn't free. It's trapped in the clutter of what doesn't matter. Epictetus taught that the wise don't speak from habit, but only when necessary. Unspoken words often carry more weight than any speech. Silence reveals what's worth your time and what's mere distraction, showing you who you are when the world's gaze is gone. It takes courage, because silence confronts you with hard truths, reminding you of what you've avoided. But in that uneasy space, change begins, not in comfort, but when you stop running. If you're lost, don't chase more noise. Seek silence. Turn off the clamor. Be still, not because you have nothing to say, but because you need to hear yourself first. Reconnect with what matters. It's not out there in the next goal or answer. It's in the quiet where you meet yourself again. The world won't pause for you. There's always more news, demands, voice. But you can choose not to heed them all. Create a pause, a sacred space to return to yourself, not what others expect, not a shadow, but the real you. 7th, speak less, think more. Most men don't stumble from silence, but from rash words, angry outbursts, careless opinions, emotional retorts. Those words spark harm, often within you. Each time you speak without clarity, you drift further from yourself. In a world where everyone vies to be heard, the man who knows when to stay silent stands out. Think of your mind as a blade. Every word is a strike. An unsharpened blade cuts you deeper than anyone else. But a honed mind, choosing when to strike or stay sheathed, makes you unshakable. A man approached me after a family argument, shaken by a trivial spark that ignited weeks of buried anger. He'd held back when he should have spoken, ignored feelings, and lashed out with judgments like daggers. In the end, he felt empty, knowing those words weren't his truth. So he set a rule: pause before responding, even for 2 seconds. It felt small, but it changed his life. Those moments gave him space to choose, to think, to respond with calm. The Stoics mastered this pause. Knowing the gap between trigger and reaction shapes your character. Epictetus said, "We're not disturbed by events, but by how we interpret them. That understanding forms before you speak." The man who controls the moment between stimulus and response doesn't just win arguments, he forges his path, his energy, his purpose. In heated moments, silence can be your sharpest weapon, not from lack of ammunition, but because you know not every fight deserves your fire. A single pause in a tense exchange can make your words carry more weight than any volume. Speaking with purpose is an art, demanding practice, awareness, and the courage to resist the noise. Today, we're bombarded with urges to react, post, speak, prove something. But restraint isn't suppression, it's choosing the source of your words, ego or wisdom, pain or clarity. That choice separates the impulsive from the grounded. You can't always control your emotions, but you can control how they're expressed. You can train yourself to observe thoughts without letting them speak for you. To pause, breathe, and wait for the right moment. A man who masters his words doesn't just communicate better, he respects himself more. And self-respect earns the respect of others. Next time you're tempted to fire back, pause, not from weakness, but from strength, not from fear, but from focus. Speaking less isn't holding back, it's letting go of what doesn't need saying. That's the quiet strength few truly master. You can be one of them. True power isn't lifting heavier weights or shouting louder. It's forged in silence, in choosing thought over reaction. Every time you speak with intent or stay silent with wisdom, you build yourself. Today, we've explored 3 pillars that shape a man: think less, speak less, focus more. These aren't lofty ideals but daily habits, built through each choice, each conscious breath, each thought you observe, without letting it become your truth. When you realize thoughts don't define you, silence is strength, and focus guides your path. Something shifts not outside, but within. You no longer need to prove your worth to the world because you carry it inside, forged through discipline and clarity. Peace, discipline, and clarity aren't for the lucky few. They're skills you hone and guard. Start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Use what you have. Breathe. Pause. Choose. If you feel unsteady, revisit this video to let these words reignite your resolve. Your mind doesn't control you unless you let it. Your voice doesn't lose value in silence. Your focus is your greatest tool. If this resonates, share in the comments. Where do you need more stillness? What are you choosing to release? Your story might light the way for another.